Question: who's in the mood for a couple, maybe four to be precise, couple of really good quick tips? Back in a minute. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Janet.
Steve, thanks so much for being here. Hi, for the folks who don't know, welcoming Steve Young from the Steve Young74 channel. He has an amazing channel. Head on over there when you have an opportunity. Talks about recipes on Recipe Tuesday, other random subjects, including quick tips for saving money and other good stuff. We are going to jump right into it today. Without further ado, Steve, I have a question for you. Do you have a money-saving tip?
Well, actually, this one right here is really good, and I think it benefits a lot of people. And as the Thanksgiving meal alternative, the first one I did in my audio, and then the one we just recently did as the two of us. Well, one thing good about is, you make recipes that require very few ingredients. The less you need for a recipe, the less you need to buy. So, for an example, would be a budget homemade soup using simple root veggies like carrots, onions, or potatoes. Use an inexpensive protein like chicken or inexpensive cuts of beef. Another cheaper alternative is a lentil or split pea soup. What I'll do on behalf of that, I have a couple recipes that I'll share with you. One is a carb recipe. It is a very simple, easy potato soup recipe. I'll send that to you. And then I have another recipe for a rice kielbasa type recipe. And what's nice about that one, even though in the video I talk about rice-a-roni, to use that to make you don't have to do that. You could do white rice and put your own tomato sauce with it and then go from there. But there are ways to save money and not have to feel like you're breaking a bank whenever you go and fix a meal for, whether it's two people or four or how many, might be in a family.
Steve, I really, really love that you picked out on the soup idea and the root vegetables. Steve, root vegetables are quite affordable, even during challenging times. You cannot go wrong with the root vegetable. And I also like the fact that you mentioned other recipes that you've done in the past, for example, like the potato soup and the other option with the kielbasa. These are optional. That's
Right.
who likes the meat, who wants just vegetable, and all very affordable. That's a great tip. Thanks so much, Steve.
Oh, sure, no problem. I've also got now, if you want me to include it, I have a third recipe. I do have a lentil soup recipe or a lentil. There's two ways to make it. One is my mom's method, and then there's a method that came about from my father after the fact. And all you're doing there is you just use your choice of tomato sauce, whether it's your own or something out of a jar. You add a couple tablespoons to the mix with the olive oil and the seasoning, and you just cook it in a sauce. But I'll include the three, and you can link it in. Yeah.
We could sure use it. No complaints. That's for sure. Steve, another thing that, in my opinion, that I really think could be very helpful would be for us to keep the car at home as much as we can. I mean, at the time of this recording, things are starting to look slightly better in the gas department, but now it's changing again. We got the holidays coming. So all of us are trying to be a little more careful and tighten the old belt whenever possible. So there are ways and there are ways. I think a lot of people oftentimes forget they have a membership sometimes and they don't take advantage of online shopping perhaps as much as they could. Leave the car at home. Take advantage of those deliveries, free deliveries. I mean, especially if you paid for the membership. So I think keeping the car at home is very, very, very good idea.
Right. Like okay, like people that do Amazon. I can do Amazon, but unfortunately, based on my address, Amazon Fresh is not available to me. But that's not a terribly bad thing because right up the street, maybe a couple miles up, if that, is a grocery store. So I can go there, get my eggs, my milk, whatever I need. It's not a problem. 4 miles round trip is not that bad. But I do see what you mean about keeping the car at home. Another one I've never done, I just recently saw an advertisement with something called Instacart, which I've never done. They say if you spend about $35 minimum, like a couple of times, you can get like free delivery. So you have that option. You have another option, but you got to use your car. You can order your groceries through Walmart, and then all you got to do is just go up to Walmart and just load your car, and you just pay for it. That takes the trouble of you having to go in the store and buy the merchandise, but you're still using your car. But I get what you're saying. If you are able to online shop and have it delivered to your home, that's great. But but I do see what you mean.
Even if
Even
you
though
supplement it, like even if you like do it like half the time that you might have used a car, it's still very
right,
helpful.
I mean, even though the price of gas here and there is kind of leveled out, but it's come down. It's like in the low threes, depending on where you go. I've seen it like 298. But even at that, it's still using your car. But I do get that. I have done some Amazon grocery shopping. Again, it's fairly easy, and I know you have the option that if you order it early enough on a certain day, and you spend a certain amount of money, they'll deliver it that day or later that evening. But I usually order it to get it delivered the following day.
I
But
like that Dropbox idea that you actually have implemented and have used yourself. Like if you're ordering a Prime product, for example, and having it
mhm,
delivered, for example, picking it up at that drop-off box was very helpful.
drop
They're
off.
not usually far away from people's location.
Oh no, no. Matter of fact, the grocery store that I have up the street, it's Save a Lot. I'll just mention it. As soon as you walk in the sliding door and you go right, the the hub lockers for Amazon is literally just as you go in and go to your right. It's right there. Matter of fact, these headphones, I purchased them. They came from a hub locker. As some of you who have been with me know that. What I like about the hub locker is that it prevents theft.
Yes.
People do have a habit of stealing packages out of people's yards, especially around the holidays. So if you have it delivered to a hub locker, you're going to receive it. Now, if you forget to pick it up, they do give you a 3-day window. If you don't, they'll pick it up, send it back to Amazon, and they'll refund you your money. So, but I prefer the hub locker route. Matter of fact, anything else I'm going to order is going to be hub locker from here on.
That sounds
So
like a win-win situation, Steve, because you're assured that you're going to get your package.
that's right. So I have another really good tip as well. It's always good to be mindful of your laundry. Don't do a tiny load very often. Don't do that. It's always better. You got to stop using the hamper as a closet by wearing a shirt more than once, for example. Well, I know you guys have seen me from time to time wear a certain shirt a few times over. That's the reason why I tend to record a little bit more than just one video in a day or two. Sometimes I'll do a batch record. I'll do my own thing, and then I might, as you see me now, I'll get over with Jan and she'll and she and I do something, or vice versa. So, but I do agree with that. Whenever I do a load of laundry, I try to do all of it at one time. That way I
I
do it
love
one
that.
time.
I love
So,
that tip, Steve, and I'll tell you why. It's funny you brought that up not that long ago on one of my own shows, because unfortunately, some people they wear an outfit, they don't even wear it an hour. They're just too lazy, in my opinion, to walk over to the closet. Big job. All right, hang it out if you on a hanger in the open air if you want to breathe a minute before you put it away. I get that, but don't just throw it like 20 minutes later in the hamper. I mean, that's ridiculous.
no, no,
Good tip over there.
no.
All right.
Yeah.
So you know what, Steve? This one, I talk about crock pots a lot. I love
Hmm.
the crock pot. Make good
Yeah.
use of the crock pot. It still costs pennies on the dollar for
Hmm.
electrical use. Also, it doesn't throw off heat in the summer. It just doesn't change your life other than making it easier. Also, use up leftovers
Hmm.
that you already have existing in the fridge. Throw the whole thing into the crock pot, add a little bit of broth, set that thing up. You are done. Your meal is done, and there's no
Yeah.
food waste.
Yeah. Matter of fact, funny you mentioned, because I just did a crock pot for my recipe Tuesday. I did a recipe with the chicken drumsticks, and that, even though it says barbecue sauce, really the sky's the limit. You can doctor it up, dress it up or down however you want. But I have a good one coming up on Tuesday of next week that has to do with the crock pot again, that I think all of you will like, because again, we got Thanksgiving coming next month, and then you
True.
got Christmas in December. So this recipe, I don't want to give myself away too much, but this particular recipe, there's a lot of different variety to making it, different ways, and it would be perfect to have as a side for the holidays.
That's wonderful, Steve. Steve, I want to thank you so much for your time. I want to thank
Hmm.
everybody for being here. And by the way, if you have some money saving tips that you would like to add, please, everyone, enter them in the comments section below. Don't forget to head on over to the Steve Young 74 channel. He has great stuff and a big library to boot. What is it? Almost over 300 videos, Steve, by now?
I think I'm currently with the one that I put up yesterday at 1:30. I think I'm currently sitting at 308.
Wonderful. Very,
Yeah, so
very good.
there's a lot to pick from.
Definitely. Thanks again,
Yeah,
Steve. Take care, everybody. I'm going to
you're
close the
welcome.
show with this. We may come back with a short wave and then the broadcast back perhaps in a minute. If not, take good care. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Bye bye, everybody.
Bye.